Today, I decided that I would undertake the challenge of completing all 112% of Hollow Knight. Now, it's not my first time completing the game. If you want to see that, check out my previous Hollow Knight video. And dare I say, the game wasn't that hard. Which I would have said if I stopped after completing my first playthrough. Well, it turns out there was a lot I missed. A lot of things that were hard. I don't know how to do this. What am I supposed to do? Goofy. Side-by-side comparison. Who's the better looking one? I think I am. I got a light, he doesn't. Or just downright frustrating. And again, it's his foot. It's like when I get hit once, then my whole momentum I've been working on just halts to an instant. Halts. I can't even speak properly anymore. So sit back and get comfy because you're gonna witness a masterclass. A masterclass of how Hollow Knight performed a complete 180 when I was least expecting it. As I mentioned in my intro, I've already completed Hollow Knight. And I say completed with quotes because 74% isn't 100% of the game. Or, 112% for some reason. But for this journey, I decided to load up a brand new save file and start from zero because using my previous save just doesn't feel right. And also I'd have to change my title to I 112% Hollow Knight after 74%ing the game. Which frankly sounds like a video that would get like 2 views. And I like views because it makes me feel important and happy. So thanks for clicking on this video. Also, this video will be split into 3 parts. Number 1, all the stuff I've already experienced during my first playthrough. 2, the parts of the game I haven't seen yet. And 3, Godhome. Why does Godhome get its own separate part even though there's like 5 things to do there? Because I'm making this video and I get to decide how to make it. So buzz off. We start off the journey like any other. With an LG that for the life of me I can't understand. What even is an LG? A poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. That doesn't clear anything up, to be honest, but it sets the mood, I guess. Then me, the Hollow Knight. Not the Hollow Knight, but your reliable, good-looking, local Hollow Knight. We jump down and begin the journey through King's Pass, which I've done far too many times to count because of my previous video, and then we make our way back to good old Dirtmouth. The quiet and solemn town, which becomes significantly less quiet and solemn with addition of certain characters in the future. But for now, it's home away from home. Jumping down into Hallownest, I was greeted by the familiar bugs that inhabit the land, who I immediately killed because I gotta get that bag somehow, and it ain't coming from handshakes and greetings.
Give me your money.
Now, because this ain't my first Hallownest rodeo, I know the ins and outs of completing the most basic of endings. The one I, and probably most people, get on their first try. The Hollow Knight. No, not the name of the game, or the boss. That's the name of the ending. The Hollow Knight. Honestly, there's too many hollows and knights for me to keep track of. This ending consists of taking out each dreamer in their respective locations and then waltzing up to the Temple of the Black Egg to assert ourselves as the, for real this time, Hollow Knight. Simple. But because this time I'm 112%ing the game, I chose to put that all on pause and do the side stuff first. Why? Mainly because infected crossroads can suck my... And also, I thought it would be a good idea to map everything out first before committing to anything. So that's what I did. I basically did one large road trip around all of Hallownest, completing any side quests on the way. For my first destination, I made my way through Forgotten Crossroads and directly to the False Knight, where I died. Wait, what? No, this isn't supposed to be in the video. Editing me, cut that. I made my way directly to the False Knight, where I swiftly defeated... Wait, no. Wait, do I need to beat him? I just realized I do need to beat him. Well, whatever, I'll come back. I can't reach him anymore. I'll just get the Vengeful Spirit and come back. Damn speedrun muscle memory. Alright, I made my way directly to the False Knight, where I swiftly escaped and made my way to the Ancestral Mound to get the Vengeful Spirit. I also did, this while I was there. Ow, ow. Why does it always... Why is it... Ha! It's... I didn't know this could happen. You're stuck forever. I could save you. Or I could just watch you. Watch you suffer. Okay, that's enough fun. I swear I'm not a sadist. Anyways, after making my way out, I made good on my promise. So I made my way back to the false... No. I went to Green Path. Why? Because of this. This time we have the Vengeful Spirit, which will make it... Are you kidding me? Why is this closed? No, are you kidding me? I have to come back from the other side? Screw that. I'm just gonna go and grab the dash, and then I'll come back. Okay, in Green Path, I did the usual. Save Sode, confirm he's still a bit not nice person, farm some Geo, fight Hornet, plus almost die for some added dramatic effect. Yep, that's the 100% legit reason why I did that, and get the Mothwing Cloak. Then I made my way back to the Forgotten Crossroads and beat the False Knight for real this time. There we go. With that finally out of the way, I entered the next area, Fungal Wastes, where I made a beeline towards the Mantis Claw. Give me this. Thank you for the Mantis Claw. And since I'm in the area, I decided to fight the Mantis Lords. Where, of course, your boy pulls through by the skin of my teeth. Nice. How far are we now? Huh. Looks like I got my work cut out for me. With that in mind, I made some purchases at the shop and bought my goat, the Wayward Compass, and then fought the Brooding Malwick. And just like Hornet, Mantis Lords, and False Knight, I made swift work out of him and got a Master Shard, which is great since I get to cross off 2 items for 1 quest. Satisfied with the progress I've made, I decided it was time for a change in scenery, so I fell back to my old ways and did the shade skip into Blue Lake. Speedrun muscle memory. I just can't escape it. Acquire the Dream Nail? Check. Beat 0? Check. Enter the City of Tears? Check. Die? Check. Ah, frick. Let's run that back. Beat the enemy gauntlet and get a vessel fragment? Check-a-rooney. And to keep the ball rolling, I even visited the nailsmith to improve my nail, which is my sword for anyone who doesn't know Hallownest lingo. With items being crossed off like no tomorrow, I decided it was time to treat myself to yet another boss fight, the Soul Master. But to get there, I had to trek through the Soul Sanctum and fight the most annoying early game enemies, these guys, who think they're the hotshot with their constant teleporting and fireballs. That's insane. You're insane. You're insane. You're insane. Oh my gosh. Well, newsflash, buddy. If I'm going down, you're coming down with me. Thankfully, it didn't come to that, but I nearly died several times. Finally, I made it to Mr. Soulmaster, and of course we fought. His first phase was light, his second phase even lighter. I'm about to blast him with 3-1. Okay, that wasn't even needed. Which means I get another 2-for-1 checklist special. Following yet another successful trip, I went to do some geo hunting, fighting these small guys and this big guy. Look at all that money. I love being rich. In order to finally afford the Lumafly lantern so I could explore the next area, the Crystal Peaks. And I say explore lightly because I only did the side quests that were conveniently on the path towards the Crystal Heart. After that, I immediately left to face what I was trying to put off for as long as possible. I do need the tram pass, which means, unfortunately, I have to make my way through Deep Nest. Into Deep Nest. My favorite place in this game. Deep Nest. Oh, Deep Nest. Where do I begin? The big problem with Deep Nest is that it is 1, a labyrinth, and 2, dark. Really dark. Like, I can't see my feet dark. It's bad enough trying to navigate the place, but now I have to search every nook and cranny this pit of awful has. Why is that there? So, for my sanity, I made the executive decision that once I retrieved the tram pass, I would hightail it out immediately and leave this problem for future me, which coincidentally is how I face problems in real life. I guess life really does imitate art. After that dreadful trip, I mapped out Kingdom's Edge with the main goal of getting to and completing a trial in the Colosseum of Fools, which I have to admit was nice after the constant running around and mapping. These next skips I performed are bound to put me in some sort of Hollow Knight Hall of Fame. Just look at this! Oh, nice! Didn't even need the Monarch Wings for this. You know you want to shoot. Come on, shoot. Yes. Yes! 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 I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but Red Bull, ESPN, I'm ready for my contract. With my absolute dominance being displayed, I went back into work mode to further progress, and I'ma just list everything off here in a speed round. Alright, ready? Here we go. I headed back to Ancient Basin, beat Broken Vessel, got Monarch Wings, beat Lostkin, Kingdom's Edge, slapped Hornet for a second time, became a king, in spirit, Abyss opened, Lighthouse on, Shade Cloak get, Colosseum conquered, Sword upgrade, Fog Canyon mapped, Queen's Garden mapped, you. I'll talk about you later. Ground Slam, Roll Waterways mapped, I Can Swim in Acid, Dung Defender slapped, Fluke Nest clapped, Godhome unlocked, Treadle Lord stopped, Cloth, no! Arrived in the Have and beat this big guy. Woo! That brings me to the edge of what I've experienced. All that's left is to beat the Dreamers and the Hollow Knight. So that's what I did. I hunted each Dreamer down and then confronted the Hollow Knight, which apparently isn't actually required to complete the 112%. I assumed at the time that it was, because logically speaking, beating the final boss is required to beat the game, which therefore should count towards a full completion, but not Hollow Knight. No, we don't do that here. So I had officially beat the game at 79%, but we're not done. Not until I see that sweet 112%. So I went back to work. This is as far as I made it during my first playthrough, which meant at this point, I was lost. Before, I knew what my goals were and where I had to go to achieve them, but now I've lost both of those. Luckily, during my exploration, I had some experiments I wanted to try out. So with my lack of direction, and with nothing else to lose, I tried to Crystal Dash from Hallownest's crown. Okay, I just fall. Great, that's amazing. So that was nothing. So I tried something less ambitious, and dashed from this opening in Crystal Peak, hoping that I could make it to King's Pass, which it did, and I could maybe find something I missed there. And boy, let me tell you, there was something. Something in the form of a whole new area. After you think you've discovered everything, there's just more. It just keeps Howling Cliffs. It's a whole new area. There's no way. Although it was a relatively small area compared to some of the other locations in Hallownest, it had some important stuff, like a vessel fragment, a nail art, and this lantern. Also Gorb. It's Gorb. Speaking of that lantern, activating it, which took me like 5 minutes because you have to hit it like 15 times, it summoned Grim and his troop to Dirtmouth, which had Elderbug absolutely quaking. Is that his little hands on his chin? That's kind of funny. And also her. I absolutely hate the sound she makes. I don't like the sounds you're making. Ew. Okay, I don't like the sounds she's making, so I don't think I'll return there. Ignoring that encounter, I met Grim, who gave me a charm which summons this flying dude, who I have to feed flames to power him up. And of course it can't be simple and convenient because the flames are scattered all around the map. On my trip, I discovered this thing. What? What am I supposed to do with this? Why does he look like that? Talk about out of place. Roll call. We got Bug, 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 Mushroom with man face, Bug, and Bug. Anyways, after 2 trips of flame collection, Grim praised me for my work, and then immediately started throwing hands. Like, bro, what? Luckily for me, I have infinite respawns, so after 8 tries... Oh, I beat him! Which was followed up by Grim pushing more work onto me. He's lucky this is part of the 112% journey, because if not, I would have left by now. After more errand work, I returned to Grim to find him sleeping. No. First he makes me do his work, then he assaults me, and now he's sleeping. It's over. That's it. It's time to end his consciousness. Which was easier said than done. I don't know why he's way stronger in his dream form. It's probably because he's extremely egotistical and this is how he thinks he looks while fighting. Regardless, let me tell you, it took a while. Let's just say it took me more than 8 tries to beat him. A lot more. Like, this much more. Want to know how long it took for me to beat him? Guess the time. Lock it in your mind and put it down in the comments below because it took too long. This stupidly long quest was followed by the worst experience I've ever had playing this game. The accursed flower quest. To put it simply, we have to deliver this scoliosis flower to a grave across the map without A, using the stag, B, teleporting, not that I had it at this point, and C, getting hit, not even once during the whole trip, or else the flower would shatter into a million pieces. The first few times wasn't that bad because I was just determining the best route to take, which I decided was out and up into Dirtmouth, through Howling Cliffs, down and through Green Path, and into the Queen's Gardens. But the problem was that every time I would set out, I'd either miss a jump or an enemy would hit me for the stupidest of reasons, and I'd have to walk all the way back just to get a new flower and have to retry because the flower would shatter all over again. Flower, please. Flower, please. Another flower, please. Flower, please. Flower, please. Flower, give me flower. This is not a gift, this is a burden. If it took me an hour and 15 minutes to learn all of Nightmare Grim's attacks and beat him, how long do you think it took me to deliver this flower? 30 minutes? An hour? Hour and 30 maybe. Try 2 hours and 50 minutes. 1/10 of the entire time I spent 112%ing this game was dedicated to delivering a stupid flower. Now, following that atrocious... That's my impression of Elderbug. Let me try that again. Following that atrocious experience, I decided it was time to complete my dream nail. But in order to do that, I needed 2400 essence. That would mean fighting dream bosses because that is by far the most efficient way to gain essence. So that's what I did. I fought a shield guy, a white version of Dung guy, Big Boy Zote, and... I hated this. Collecting all the essence, I talked to the seer and she decided it was a good time to pull a Master Uruguay on me and descended right before my eyes. Naturally, my first thought was, do you have any loot here? No? Okay. Hey, I never claimed to be a good person. With that done, all I had left to do was upgrade my nail one last time and collect the rest of the remaining charms. And then I was done in the overworld. Hey, wait a minute. Editing me, put the Spider-Man name. So I fought Nosk for the last piece of Paylor I needed, and I made a friend. Disgusting. It's me! Come on, Mask, you're coming with me. We're going on an adventure. We shall get the pillar together. I'm Hollow Knight, so you should be, Height. Yup, that's you, Height. Together we can rule the world. Rule Hallownest. We can take on anything. Perhaps even another flower quest. If you're by my side, I can do anything. Off an adventure with my friend. Height. What? No! No, my brethren! He's been left behind. We will never forget Height, for he is in our hearts forever. Anyways, I upgraded my nail, to which the nailsmith had an interesting request for me. What? Do I do it? I mean, he wants it, right? I'll hit you from this side so you won't fall off. Why would you... I honestly have no idea why he did that. I mean, like, even if he completed his master's work, maybe there's like other people that would need his talents, but I guess it's a one-done deal. With that out of the way, the last thing I had to do before Godhome was collect all the charms. So I did one big scavenger hunt across all of Hallownest, with the help of my guide Google, and collected all but one. You see, the last charm is actually split into two. One piece is given by the white lady, and the other is acquired by entering this guy's dream to complete a gauntlet of parkour, which includes tons and tons of saw blade spikes and spears. It's kind of a weird way to structure a castle, but that's just me. Reaching the top, we smack this corpse for the last piece of the charm, which forms the King Soul. The last charm acquired. And with that, my time in Hallownest was officially over. All that was left was to approach this corpse in Royal Waterways and enter Godhome. Well, this is it. We're finally in Godhome, and the final 4%. Almost done 112%ing this whole game. Each Pantheon is basically just a boss rush of previously beaten bosses. There are a total of 5 Pantheons in Godhome. Pantheon of the Master, Pantheon of the Artist, Pantheon of the Sage, Pantheon of the Knight, and Pantheon of Hallownest. But for 112%, only the first 4 are required to beat. So with that, I launched straight into it. The first Pantheon was a cakewalk. I beat it first try. Second one was a little tricky. Holy crap. But I got in 2. Pantheon of the Sage was where I hit a wall. The wall coming in the form of Zote and Sly. For some ungodly reason, I just couldn't understand Zote's attack patterns. He was all over the place. And for the few times that I did get past him, I'd make it all the way to the end to reach Sly, where I would get sent back to the start because I barely registered any of his attacks. Faced with this challenge, I pulled out my trump card. How to beat Zote. Relia honestly came in clutch with his tutorials, so hats off to him. I probably would have been stuck on this Pantheon for hours without it. Of course, I didn't beat them right away, but I became infinitely better at reading and reacting to both Zote and Sly's attacks. Which brings me to my last challenge. Now at 111%, all that's left is the Pantheon of the Knight. And honestly, it was simple. Simple until... oh my god, it's just the Hollow Knight. Ow. Double! No, it does double. He does double the damage. Oh, I'm getting destroyed. It was not worth healing.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Once again, I turned to YouTube for tutorials and memorized its attack patterns through tons and tons of trial and error until I felt confident enough to go through the dozens of other bosses for another chance for victory. And of course, in the end, let's go! That's how it's done! Get out of here! Oh, that's 112% in the bag. My brothers, I'm the GOAT! And you're my GOAT for 112%ing this video. There we go!